Rise in the morning. Your day just got started.
Everybody rise.
Rise with Dr. Z.
Everybody rise. Wake up and
Wake up and
live.
live.
Everybody rise. Wake up and live. Everybody rise.
Rise in the morning.
Wake up and live.
Rise in the morning. Your day just got started. Rise with Dr. Z. Wake up and live.
Everybody rise. Wake up and live. Everybody rise. Wake up and live.
Good morning, and I'm so happy to be in the land of the living. Yes. Good morning. I want you to get up and like this program, love this program, man. Share it so that your friends would be able to come on and see what's going on and hear what's going on in the world. Good morning, Amaran, and good morning, Judith. Yes, you asked how I'm doing. I'm doing pretty good, thank God. I hope you're doing well. Kathy, Dion. Oh, Dion, fun day. Good to have you. And oh, Granny P. Granny P, it's good to see you on this morning. Okay. And so I welcome all of you. And I know that the others are going to come in as we go along because today is an interesting day. We are going to be talking about some fundamental things, some important things in our lives. Okay, so welcome again, and get your coffee, your tea, whatever it is you need to have with you while you tune into this program. And as usual, we are not going to start without a prayer. And so I'm going to ask God to bless us and keep us safe from what's going on in this world. Oh, Heavenly Father, I thank you. Thank you for waking us up this morning. Not just waking us up, but in our right mind, oh God, and letting us see another one of your beautiful creation. Heavenly Father, I just ask you to bless us all. Keep us safe, oh God. Put a hedge around us, oh Heavenly Father. This pandemic is just not leaving, oh God. As a matter of fact, it's raising its ugly head all over again. Oh Heavenly Father, just help us to know that we need to be careful, oh God. And then we need to understand that when we do certain things, we're not only protecting ourselves, but we're protecting other people, or family, or friends, even strangers who we don't know. Heavenly Father, I just ask you to bless this program. Be with us all in thy most precious and holy name. Amen. Amen. We are going to go into inspirational thought for the morning. The first one says, it is very easy to run away from everything, yet difficult to wake up. Don't run from your life, from your duties, from those around you. Wake up and face them as a challenge. It is very easy to run away from everything. Very easy. Just seclude yourself away from everything, yet difficult to wake up to the reality. Don't run from your life, from your duties, from those around you. Wake up and face them as a challenge. Challenge yourself. You know you can do it, no matter what it is. And I'm going to tell you a secret, if you don't know yet, that if you have Jesus with you, he's going to help you through that challenge. If you cannot find peace within yourself, you will never find it anywhere else. You got to find it within yourself. That's where you'll find peace. Never give up. Never stop believing. Never doubt yourself. Always walk in hope. Always remember your value. Always believe good things are about to happen. That is one of the things that you can do to be able to find that peace within yourself. Never give up. Never stop believing. Never doubt yourself. Always walk in hope. Always remember your value. Always believe good things are about to happen. Yes, good things are about to happen. Remain positive because when you're positive, that's when good things happen. I'm going to give you the verse. Well, it's a few verses of the day. And yes, I share my U version verses with you guys sometimes. Good morning, Renisha Griffith, and good morning, Valerie Young. Yes. Rome and Proverbs 6:16 to 19. And it's from the New King James Version. These six things the Lord hates. Yes, seven are an abomination. Or you can say seven are repulsive to him, or one more he loads with a passion, and that's from other versions. I'm just explaining that part. A proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that are swift in running to evil, a false witness who speaks lies, and one who sows discord among brethren. I don't know why I got that this morning, but it is something that we need to reflect on as we go along our daily lives. Good morning, Andre George. It's good to have you. Just remember these verses. Let us learn to love each other instead of sowing discord. Let us learn to be truthful instead of telling lies. It is not a good thing. It gets us nowhere. So I hope that we learn something from our inspirational thought and our verse of the day. Doreen Douglas Forbes, good morning to you too. All right. And so we come to a nice part. Carol Harry, good morning. Good morning. Now, unfortunately, I was not able to be on Thursday, so there was a rerun. So I have a lot of birthdays and one or two anniversaries to get through. But you know what? If you know someone who has a birthday, who had a birthday over the last few days, or have a birthday today or a few days coming up, just put it on the screen and I will give them a shout out for you. Okay, so I'm starting the birthdays from October 20th. Jude Francis, good to have you. Jermaine Erika Simon, Heather Bain, Beryl Ann Clarkson, Virginia Latouche, happy belated birthday, October 21st. Jacinta Frederick, Sonny Mack, Edwin Sylvester, Troy James, Ken Joseph, Venetia, Tracy Couquet. Ooh, Vanessa Tracy Cook, Adrian D. Riggs, Lyndon D. Riggs. And then we have the 22nd, Danny Rubin, Danielle Morel Dudley, Kibby Gibberim, Igel Joseph, Shalana Hanny Boyle, and Patsy Pear Paul. And the 23rd, Andrea Scott, and Pixie Lily Britton. And today we have Kennard, Mr. Fresh Andrew, and Leslie Ann Johnson celebrating their birthday today. And I'm going to go to tomorrow, God's willing, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Sunday, we have Veron Richards. Veron, happy early birthday. I hope you have a wonderful time tomorrow, God's willing. Belinda Belgrave, Richie Gibbs, Susan Reese Dugan, Carl W. Jones. Monday, we have Joshua Atok, Cecil Prime. And Tuesday, we have Stephanie Thomas, Matthew Johnson, Ignatius Hood, Pastor Hood, happy early birthday to you. Neville Ferguson, another pastor. Fitzroy Antoine, Shah Goodale. Happy birthday to you guys. Happy anniversary going out to the sister and brother in law of Princess Leah, Desia Jason Durant, and Verna C. King Durant. Happy anniversary to you guys. Yes. And Doreen Douglas says, good morning, precious people of God. Happy Saturday. And both Amaran and Kathy are giving birthday greetings and anniversary greetings to the ones who were mentioned. And so I want to say a special thank you to all of you who are on. Misha Peters, good morning. And you're from St. Vincent in the house. Good to have you guys. And so we have a program that I would love for you guys to get involved in, um, contribute, put it up on the screen. We are looking and we are hoping that at the end of the program today, those of you in the United States will decide, if you have not done so yet, to go out and vote. It is important that we take part in our civil and civic duty. Yes, we need to do that. Carol Henry, good morning. And, and okay. And so we have a young man, and I don't know if many of you know him, but he likes to be a behind the scene man. But today, I am bringing him to the forefront. And we're going to learn a little more about Mo, Morris Franklin, better known as Mo, when we come back. So we'll take a short break and we'll come back with Mr. Morris Franklin.
Rise in the morning. Your day just got started.
Everybody rise.
Rise with Dr. Z.
Everybody rise. Wake up and
Wake up and
live.
live.
Everybody rise. Wake up and live. Everybody
Rise in the morning.
wake up and live.
Rise in the morning. Your day just got started. Rise with Dr. Z. Wake up and live.
Everybody rise. Wake up and live. Everybody rise. Wake up and live.
Good morning again and welcome. And I have a special person that I want to say a happy birthday to, and that's David. David Choice. And I know that you're not feeling well right now. And so I hope you get well soon. I'm sending all the prayers and well wishes out to you, David. May God continue to bless you and keep you. Just keep trusting Him. Okay? Remember, He is your Father. Just keep trusting Him. Okay? Yes. And so we have we have Attorney Funday saying, yeah, she can't wait to see more on. And Granny P, it's good to have you. And I know you say you're busy, but I'm glad you're going to be listening. All right, here we go. Mr. Mo Franklin. Morris Franklin, affectionately known as Mo, is currently a student success specialist at General Assembly, New York City, a profit education organization specializing in technology skills for entrepreneurs and professionals. Mo lives in Brooklyn, having moved from Grenada in 2000, where he amassed an extensive background in the retail and food industry. Moore decided to return to college full time and became a statistical psychology teaching assistant. I'm going to say that again. He became a statistical psychology teaching assistant for 2 years before graduating from CUNY, Hunter's College, with a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology. Maurice likes reading, writing, traveling, and running in his free time. He completed 4 marathons, New York City twice, Chicago, and New Jersey. He is no stranger to the ride along platform. as he is a production assistant and the brainchild behind Top 5 at 5 Live on the platform. Welcome, Mo.
Thank you, Dr. Z. I am so excited to be here. It feels different being in in the back,
In the
being
front.
yeah. Oh my God. But I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here, everyone. It's good seeing the comments. Thank you all. And I'm excited. It's going to be a great conversation, and I cannot wait for us to talk about so many things that we need to talk that affects us, especially in the Caribbean community. So I am blessed and I'm honored to be on this platform with you, and thank you for having me.
Oh, you are most welcome. And let me say hi to Pastor Neville Ferguson, Eon Baker, and Dion is just waiting to hear you, right, Mo?
I know. Hi, hello, Kati. Good seeing you.
Okay. And so we have a few things that we're going to discuss this morning. And as I said before, we're looking for the audience to actually chime in, and so be ready. Joycey Smith, good to have you. And she's tuning in from London. So that's good. All right. So Mo, we're going to talk a little bit about the debate, the presidential debate.
Tell me about it.
And this one was actually a little better than the last one because now we actually had a debate. The last time we had Vice President Biden coming to debate, but we had the president coming to disrupt the whole thing.
Yeah,
And the debate happens between two people, not one. So if
exactly.
you have one person trying to debate, it's not going to work.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%. I was so happy that the mic was turned off. After every question and during their response to me at the time. So I was excited about that because you could have heard like policies that was on the table. I think it was well measured. I think it was a much calmer tone. It was civil. It was more informative. You could have clearly seen that Joe Biden was a politician. I mean, he spoke to me. He spoke in the camera, and I love that. Uh,
And that is important because he was actually talking to us.
exactly, exactly. He was talking to the American people, and that was very important. Um, our president Donald Trump, I was happy that he was a bit somber than the first debate. I was happy that he was able to be a bit controlled. um, he made a remarkable improvement compared to the first debate. I think also that he did not really share a vision for the next 4 years. I think he was more on defense mode. Unlike Biden, who kind of like was more effective in his arguments and share a vision for the next 4 years. So
And
it,
that is true. That's
yeah,
true, Mo.
yeah. I mean, we want to know what is going to be happening for the next 4 years. We want to know like what is his plans, what is his policies for the next 4 years. I mean, to him, he always says that it's going to be it's going to be a bigger thing, it's going to be a better, a better 4 years. But there is no hardcore policies on the table, and I was looking for that. I did not see that from our president Donald Trump. But I was happy with the moderator. I think for the second black woman to host the program, I think she did amazing. She was remarkable. She was measured. She was controlled, and she was able to control both of them. And I was happy to see that someone at moderating the table was a representative of the black community, and she did amazing. I think she was the best moderator in all three of them for this year.
And I agree. I think she did a fantastic job. And turning off the mic certainly helped, you know, because it it it, it would not have been good for what happened at the first debate to happen again.
Yeah,
But we want to look at some of the things that was brought forward in the debate. And let me just say good morning to Veronica Edwards and Alexandre Taylor from Canada. And yes, Dion says she did an excellent job. The moderator, she did. One of the things that you know came out of this whole thing was the over 500 kids that was taken, torn away from their parents, and now they cannot find their parents. More, what you think about that?
Um, I was when I got a notification on my phone from the Wall Street Journal, I was a bit disappointed. I mean, it's very hard. That is very traumatic for the kids to not be around their parents. I remember watching Immigration Nation on Netflix, and they had a family, was a gentleman and his son who crossed the border, and for months they were separated, and they document the son's life, and they also the father, and the son was going through so much turmoil. You know, his aunt was not being supportive. He missed his parents. His mom was back in Mexico. So I imagine that it was tragic to have to have your kids separated from your parents. And I think that I'm glad that they highlighted that, because I don't think any parents would want to go through that. Would you imagine just crossing the border and you cannot see a child for months, and even though the children cannot see their parents? So this is really heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking because it has stretched from months into years now.
Yeah,
And it is so traumatic for these kids, and all the president could say is that, oh, they're in a clean and nice facility. Mentally, these kids are tortured.
yeah,
It's amazing that he does not have the empathy to know what to even feel a bit for these kids.
yeah. Tortured for life. They will experience anxiety. They will they will it will affect them in the long run, even into their adulthood.
Yeah.
Because I mean, studies have shown that when kids are separated, when kids are going through trauma, when they're in a new environment they're not familiar with, and especially when there were so many poor living conditions in the cages that they were in, I mean, that will affect them into adulthood. And it's as I said, it's really and truly heartbreaking. But he was blaming Biden. He was blaming Biden, and he was blaming the Obama administration for having the kids in the
for
cage.
for the cages. He
Right,
said they built the cages, and one of the things I just want us to clear up here, probably they did build some cages, but here's the thing: it was not to put children; it was to house the people coming over for a very short period of time while they were processed through the courts and allowed to go to their people that they came to, or try to get something to do while they await their time in the courts. So
right,
these cages, they were not built to tear kids away from their parents and
right,
put them there to live. That's crazy,
right, right,
you
right.
know.
It is crazy. The cages. I think during Obama administration, what I read, there was a point in time when they had so many kids crossing the border. Yes, it was built. It was built, but they never took they vetted the families. They to see if they were the right was the right was. I mean, the kids was with the right parents. They went extreme to do that. But with the Trump administration, every family who crossed the border, they removed the children from them. Every family member, and that's why it became very overcrowded.
Mm-hmm.
you know. So it was so that's where the problem was. And the customs officer, I mean, I can remember there were stories where they were not treating the kids properly.
Mm-hmm.
They were being sarcastic towards the kids. They were calling the kids, like crybabies and all these sort of names and things like that. But yes, so yes, the Obama administration built the cages,
Some
but
of them.
some of them. But the Trump administration, what they did, they removed every family members that came across,
They
and
remove the kids. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
kids from the parents. So
Yes.
that was thing.
Good morning, Minister Shelby, Sue Patrice, and Doreen Douglas Forbes says these children now have emotional problems for life.
Oh
But
yeah,
God,
oh
yes,
yeah.
they do. You know, and Dion Funde says, Mo, would you agree the cages should not have been? I guess she's trying to say they should not have been built.
In
But
the
you
first,
know, she wants you to answer that question, so
yeah.
I'll give you that.
I agree with attorney Dione. I think cages should not be built. And it is like, would you imagine just being locked up, behind bars or something like that, and it could affect everyone. But I think for the most part, I think although it was built, there was proper ventilation, I assume, and there wasn't much people in the cage. There wasn't much sure in the cages. But when you look at the news feeds during the Trump administration, there were so many children, like they couldn't move around, and they were getting sick. So I think definitely that, and I agree with her. I agree with Attorney Funde that cages should not be built for any human being.
And the thing about it is, if we remember, there was a time when the people coming to the border was overwhelming, and so in order to process them, they had to keep them somewhere than out and leave them out in the open.
Yeah,
But we have to remember it was not built to house children. It was not built for anyone to steal those kids from their parents and house them there. That was not what it was for. And so, yes, it probably should not have been built. They probably were at a stage where they really needed to do something really quickly, but it was not meant for what it's being used for now. And that is what we have to remember. All right. Andrew George says that's why our vote this time around is very important. Yes, yes. And Dion says, would you agree that cages should not have been built to begin with? Humans in cages should not have been acceptable. And that's true. That is true, as we said. But at that point in time, when there was so many people coming in, they needed to have something put up really quickly, just for temporary. It was not meant to be anything permanent. And I'm not taking for anyone, but I'm looking at the situation from eyes of thinking what possibly could have been done. Never did I think, or did they probably think, that these things were going to be used to house children. Vincent from Trinidad, good to have you. Good to have you on the show. And so, as Andre says, it is so important around that we go out and vote, and we're going to deal with that as we go along. Now,
yes.
let's look at the crime bill more.
Oh
The
yes.
crime bill that the president keep accusing the vice president about spearheading and actually putting out there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know if everyone is familiar with the crime bill in the 1990s. So I think it came about because of a scientific study that was done, I think by a Princeton University professor, and it was called the super predators. And at that time, I think there was talking about the juvenile, and there was a utter control. There was a lot of petty crimes, and it was predicted that a juvenile will continue to have this problem, and they're going to create problem for the country. Also, I think Bill Clinton, he run on a policy of law enforcement. So when he got in, he wanted to make sure that that he had that law enforcement policy on the in place. So with this when Joe Biden and as a senator, he supported the bill. And there was at one point the Black Caucus of the Congress did not support it at one point, and they said, you know what, let us go back to the table. And then they supported it eventually because I think they made some amendments. And then the Black community, they wanted it also because there was the crack epidemic at the time. So many parents were not seeing their children. It was very hard during that period. And then it so happened that the bill went through, it passed, and that's how the crime bill come.
And it was unanimously passed by everybody in all of the necessary in the Senate. And
Right.
as you rightly said, it was because at that time the crime was out of control.
Yeah, tell me about
And
it.
one of the things that I don't understand, the president should know that one man is not responsible for passing a bill. It was
Right,
passed
right,
by Congress. It was not Joe Biden's fault, that it was not him alone. So the president blaming him as
right,
the person who passed it, it is so ridiculous. You
right.
understand? And that's what happens when you have nothing else that you can throw at someone, you
Yeah,
know. And so we just want to make it plain to people out there that this crime bill was passed. And what I love about Vice President Biden is that he apologized for being part of it.
apologize.
He
Yes, yes,
apologized. And it is true that during the Obama presidency, they actually um, gave clemency to a lot of the people who got caught up when
oh,
that bill came into place.
right. Yeah, there was 1,014 pardons,
Yes,
prisoners released, and compared that to the previous 10 presidents, like before Obama. There was the second chance. I'm going to just read something. The second chance pilot program, allowing incarcerated people to once again receive Pell Grants to pursue college degrees. There was the executive order banning the box on applications for federal jobs. There were people that were not able to get jobs after being incarcerated, and there was a policy that was done by Obama. Solitary confinement of juveniles in federal in prison. He abolished that. He was like, listen, we shouldn't have juvenile children in
adult
prison.
prison. Yeah,
Right, and even and you know how difficult it is when you come out from prison and you cannot get housing, and he put a law which with the HUD guidelines do not disenfranchise Black people and people of color because of their criminal record. And then he was the first sitting president to visit a federal prisons correction facility. I'm not saying that
that,
Trump has not done a lot for criminal reform, but at the same time, I don't want us to think that Obama has not done enough also. According to Van Jones, Obama had more of an administrative criminal reform, while Trump was more of a like more on policies and getting it done. And this must keep in mind that the reason why is because Trump has the Senate. He
there
has
you go.
the legislative branch.
Yes,
No,
yes. And
Obama didn't have the Senate. He didn't
he
have the
didn't.
House at one point.
Yeah,
So most of the things that he had to do was executive order.
that's correct. And he cared enough to do some of those things, even though he was criticized
Right.
for doing it executively, but that's the way he could have done some things. And
Exactly.
so we keep in mind that Vice President Joe Biden was only the vice president.
Yes.
He did not have the say in what happens. And so when the president keep accusing him of not doing anything in 47 years, he did not have the power to
He did
do
not.
what the president is talking about. He had the power over the last 3.5 years, almost 4 years.
Yeah.
And there's certain things that he could have done and he
Right.
did not do. For
Yeah.
instance, people are suffering People are suffering because, look, Canada, England, all of these places, they put things in place for months where they were able to help their people financially. And what happens is when you help the citizens, they are able to pay their rent.
Right.
The homeowners are able to pay their mortgages. The banks are able to continue. The business places are, when they're being helped, they're able to do that and continue doing the things. So when the place gets ready to reopen, things
Yeah.
are not too far gone.
Yeah.
But when you have one measly $1,200 in 7 months, and you have the House passing others and the Senate under you know who, McConnell, he will not even look at it. And then you have the president coming on and saying that is because of Nancy Pelosi and Joe why we don't have a second stimulus passage. It's laughable.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want the people out there to know the truth.
Yeah.
It is important because those who did not vote yet, listen, we
Yeah.
only have two choices. I know some people say they want young people to go into the presidency. At this time, we don't have a young person. We have two older gentlemen. You have to choose which one is best for us. And definitely go out and vote. Vote in forces. That is our innate right.
Right.
Let us do it. All right. So
Yeah.
we talked about the crime bill and those other things. Is there anything else you want to talk about that came out through the debate?
Well, I want to respond to Attorney Funde, where she said, I was proud to see former Vice President apologizing for the crime bill signed by Joe Biden and supported by Joe Biden through 2016. Do you think the harm was already done? The harm was already done. It was already done. When I look at that, I think that, like in all my career, in all my professional journey, there are times when I make mistakes that affect everybody else. But what I like is the fact that he apologized. He apologized. He said it was a mistake. He said it was a mistake, and that was based on scientific research.
Mhm.
It was not done properly. The professor who talked about who coined the word super predators, he also apologized. So there was so that was a mishap, and it did hurt a lot of families. It hurt a lot of people of color. It hurt a lot of people in the Black community. But I think that, like what the Black community saw was that Joe Biden changed, and he worked with Obama very well. He not often, and I'm going to put it here, or that not often you will see that a vice president, a white man, work with a Black president or work with a Black person who is ahead of that. And I think that's where the Black community came out and support Joe Biden in the primary. They felt that he had did 8 years and he had supported Obama and he worked very well with Obama, and they want to see that continue. And I think he made a great choice when having Kamala Harris on the ticket, and
Yes.
that's where we have to go out and vote.
Yes. Yes. And listen, I want to put it out there again. It was not only him. He was going based on scientific evaluations given to him, and the entire Senate was responsible for voting for that bill.
Right.
But what I'm happy about is that yes, he was in charge of the judiciary section of the Senate, and so yes, it was looked at as his bill. And we also have to remember what was going on at that point in time. And I'm going to say it did help curb to a certain extent what was going on then and
Yeah.
change the course of some of the things that was happening. I
Yeah.
shudder to think what would have happened if certain things was not done. We have to be honest within ourselves. And we have to understand that sometimes certain things happen to change the course of other things.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going to say this here, it might sound a little controversial, but a lot of times when we talk about um, white on black crime, we neglect to talk about black on black crime. And there's so much of it going on, so much, and that's for another show,
Right.
but we have to recognize when we do certain things too. And we can't just blame the other side all the time.
Right.
We are responsible sometimes for some of the things that happen. And yes, I said it.
Well, Dr. Z, I need to I need to finish up on, because when you talk about white and black crime, I need to say something on this. I'm sorry. You know what? I think this is a narrative cited by the conservative media and the Republicans of black and black crime. Yes, yes,
Mhm.
it happens. There is white and white crime also.
Yes,
Black and
yes.
black crime is because of close proximity. Black and black crime is not about race.
No,
Not
no.
killing you because I am because I consider you black. So I mean, and I know the media is portraying this thing out there, especially in New York, because when I look at our television news, all I'm seeing that the crime is happening. And do you know where I see white and white crime? When I go to ID station, you understand? When I go to
Hmm.
when I when I watch the Snap, these is where you see white and white crime. So
Hmm.
black on black crime, it it will happen because these are crime close to proximity. You live in the community, things gonna happen. I'm not saying that it should happen, but the crime will happen. But black and black crime is just a myth to me, and it's not. And there is white on white crime.
There is black on black, there's white on white crime. The thing about it, the difference between the white on black crime, and that's why I think Black Lives Matters came into being, is because a lot of it is based on racism. With the
Right,
black on black, I agree with you, and that's sometimes drug related, sometimes it's just nonsense. Sometimes
right,
people, they kill each other for nonsense. They go to rob someone, and the person see them, and they kill.
right,
Lives matter.
right,
Lives
right.
matter. People lives matter.
I wish I,
And
I wish I had my facts, but I wish I had my stats to say. But when compared to black and black crime and white crime, white and white crime is in high proportion.
yeah, yeah, it
I've,
is.
I've seen studies, like
It is.
during my research in statistical psychology. I've seen studies where it's in a higher proportion compared to black and
we
black.
we are going to come back with that one of these
Another,
days.
another
We,
day.
we're gonna do we're gonna do something on the different kind of crimes, why they
Right,
happen, and all of those things. But here's the thing. I wanted to highlight this year. It's something that Doreen Douglas Forbes said. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. God is watching. He sees what is done to his children, his precious gifts to us. We continue to pray, God will deliver. And I wanted to go back and actually mention that because it's really important. And also, Sue Patrice says, remind folks only US citizens can vote. Green card holders cannot vote. If you want to be part of the voting process and the system, get your citizenship. Because if you're just a green card holder, you cannot vote.
right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And a good morning, Doreen and Reverend Shelby and Arthur Langine. Good morning to you guys. So we're going to go to another subject that came about in the debate. COVID-19.
COVID-19.
COVID-19. COVID-19 is now back in a vengeance. Some places it's the second wave, other places it's the third wave. And
Right,
we still have people, including the president, who will not wear a mask.
right,
They tell us that we need to wear the mask. It protects not only us, but our family, our friends, even strangers. We might be in a place and we don't even know, you don't know you have the COVID. You cough, you expose all of this germs into the air, and some stranger probably around have no idea that you have it. Maybe you don't even know that you're a spreader as yet, and they go home with it. They get infected, they infect their family, their
Mhm.
friends, because they have no idea that something like that happened. So this is one of the ways of keeping the spread down: wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands, and do all of those things. Good
Right.
morning, Alan Doyle. It's good to see you, Sir Tom. And so COVID-19, what do you think about the way the president handled COVID-19?
Um, I didn't think he did a great job. I think it was. I think there was much that he could have done. Um, he and his administration did not prepare. They have failed to prepare for a long expected pandemic. The stockpile was empty. Yes, he said he blamed it on the Obama administration, but you had 3 years to make sure that the stockpile was filled just in case there was a pandemic. He had weakened the CDC. He had reduced the staff. He ignored warnings there, especially in early January, when there was pressure time for you to do something. It is documented that he falsely assured the public that it was not something serious. It was not something to consider as dangerous. He failed to mobilize manufacturers, and I think he took a very late action on that.
Very late, very
Yeah,
late.
the Defense Production Act. I can remember watching. There were private citizens, private companies who were making masks when New York was going through its problem. So when New York was in the critical zone, he dragged his feet on curbing the spread. He didn't put a mandate federally in terms of social distancing, stay at home guidelines, and wearing masks. I mean, up to now, he still doesn't wear masks.
Up.
He had COVID and he still doesn't wear masks.
Because he have to keep the narrative for
Yeah,
his people. You
yeah,
see, if you're telling your people and you know it is an abomination that he knew since late last year, early this year,
right.
how dangerous this thing was. This thing
Yeah,
was here, and what he was trying to safeguard, the top 1%. You know,
right.
he wanted the economy, he thought about the economy before he thought about people.
Yeah,
He is supposed to be the one there to help protect his people,
right.
whether you're red, from red state or blue state, whether you're Republican or Democrat. And he's always coming down, oh, the Democrat this and the Dem. You are the president for
Right.
the entire United States,
Yeah,
not red and blue and black and brown. It has nothing to do with anything.
yeah,
And this is what we have to understand. COVID-19, and in case people don't understand, it was not named COVID-20 because it started in 2019. That's
yeah.
why it's named COVID-19. The US death toll tops 223,000.
Right,
Rural hospitals are filling, and the Dakotas, North and South Dakota, lead the nation by new infections. Just
right,
this morning, I learned that the US cases reached record high, or the infections, more than 83,000 people were infected on Friday. And there's still people who need to be tested. But there was 83,000 people diagnosed with the infection just Friday alone. France recorded over 40,000 new cases. This thing, by the way, good morning, Shirley Lumley. It's good to have you. Okay. This thing has gotten out of hand again. And Dr. Fauci, who the president has called all sort of names, This man said it. He's a scientist. He said when it gets colder, it is going to come back again. And it has come back all over the world with a vengeance. And in the United States, there's certain places that's thinking about closing down again.
Right. And because you know something I always like, I always want to study like human behavior, and I think because it's because of my psychological background. Like I want to know like why is it that he's doing this? Why is it that he's not wearing masks? Why is it that his base is not doing it? And I had to look closely of the Orthodox Jew in Brooklyn because you know I live at the borderline of that community. And I don't know if you remember 2 weeks ago they had a spike in the community, and I was wondering, like, why are they not wearing masks? And you know, like, I think because of the religious background, and probably you can explain more to me in that area. Because of the religious background, they feel as though that they do not believe in science. A matter of fact, their their curriculum in school is not about science. It's all about you know religion, and I think that also they do not have televisions in their in their homes, and they have a belief that if anything happens to me, it's because of God's wishes. So and most of them are Trump supporters. I'm afraid the majority of them are Trump supporters.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this more.
Right.
As a minister, I'm going to say this. God didn't make us to be foolish.
You're right.
Okay. He gave us politicians, he gave us scientists, he gave us some people are teachers, some people are psychologists like yourself. You know, if we have the scientists who he gave us and he gave them the knowledge, even though, yes, we believe in God, yes, we believe that he is the supreme being and he is going to protect us, but he did not tell us to be foolish. If we know that this thing is going to spread by certain ways, and there are certain things that we can do to safeguard ourselves and to safeguard others, do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand? And
Yeah.
and don't, you know how many people put themselves out there and say, oh, I'm not wearing a mask, and they're 6 feet down now.
Yeah. Oh yes.
You
Haman
know,
came.
and one of the things that has happened and is happening in America is that certain areas where the clusters are, and the Jewish areas are some of the areas, are the areas where you have churches, especially large churches, still open, and this is important for us to understand that
Yeah.
this pandemic is no respecter of person. The pandemic don't know whether you're a Christian or you're not.
Yeah.
If you don't do the things that will help you to keep you and your family safe, you're going to get it whether you like it or not. You know, and don't think that we are going to get the same sort of great treatment that the president got. Okay, don't think we're going to get that. That's something. Walter Reed Hospital, we can't even think about it much as to go there, you know.
So
And Joyce C. Smith says we have to be wise. Religion has nothing to do with foolish behavior. That's right. I agree. I agree with you, Joyce. We have to be sensible. Look,
right.
right now, the Poland President Duda, tested positive for coronavirus. It is no respecter of persons.
Yeah.
Look at the Prime Minister of England. He had it. And he had it really, really bad. So
I think we lost Dr. Zee for a moment. She's a bit frozen. Yeah. So just to continue on the topic, you know, with all the presidents who had it, and they got sick. I could like Governor Christie, like you know, he was preparing our president Donald Trump for debate, and he got sick, and he was on a ventilator for 7 days, and he came in and he said, "Please wear mask. Mask is very important." So when coming to statistics, it's there are so many new cases in a day, as Dr. Z alluded to earlier. There's 80,000 positive cases as yesterday in the United States. Worldwide, there's 41 million. There's deaths 223, 800 plus on a daily basis in the U.S. When we talk about the English-speaking Caribbean, Jamaica has 8,600 cases. Bahamas is followed, and Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, luckily, I am from Grenada. We are in the lowest in the English-speaking Caribbean countries: Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Montserrat. So it's very important to wear your mask and social distances, even if when you are in a large crowd. So wash your hands. Make sure you're taking good care of yourself. And let's hope that by next year we were able to get it done. So let's see how it works. I think Dr. Z is back.
The fourth, I'm telling you, when we have something good going, that happens sometimes. It don't happen often, but it happens.
Yeah.
And I remember. Thank you for what you were, the comments and the so on that you were keeping going. But as I was saying, it is important for us to understand that we are the people who will make the difference. We
Yeah.
cannot be foolish. Dion Funde is saying that Jamaica is doing really bad.
Yeah.
We have Audrey Ford, highly favored, Martina Royer. Thank you guys for tuning in. And Doreen Douglas Forbes says, riches and earthly treasures cannot protect anyone from COVID. As humans, we must pray and use wisdom and be safe in this pandemic. And Lois JJ saying she's super proud of you, Mo.
She's my biggest cheerleader.
I know I know she is. And I listen, man, I am so proud of you myself. We'll talk about that later. But it is so important
Yeah.
that we understand. And one of the points that Joe Biden made in the debate when the president talked about how good the economy is doing, he said, "What's about the people who are starving? The people who are not part of the Wall Streeters, the Wall Street crowd. What about them? People are suffering."
Yeah.
You understand? And we need to understand that our vote is important. And so we know what's going on with the coronavirus. We're going to go on now to our vote.
Yeah.
Let our vote count. More talk a bit about our voting out there.
Well, I know sometimes we hear it so often, like blacks and Latinos votes are very important, and we probably might not hear much about the Caribbean Americans vote, but the Caribbean American vote is very important, and we are on the the title of the black. So see that as though that we are representation also, and there are so many swing states where we have so many Caribbean representation. You talk about Florida, you have the Haitian community, you have the Jamaican community in abundance. You talk about Georgia, it's also a swing state. There are lots of immigration, Caribbean American community right there. You talk about Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
There is a huge Caribbean community there. So our vote is very important, and we want everyone to go out and vote. I know 2016 was a very, very hard year. When I talk about, we had Hillary Clinton on the ticket, and also we had Donald Trump. And, like records had shown that the Haitian community was upset with the Hillary Clinton because of the Clinton Foundation and what they have, what is alleged that they have done in the with the money or the funds for Haiti, and Donald Trump won Florida less than 1% in the vote, and I think it has to do for the major part of the Haitian community. I think they had supported Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton, and they had also some of them had stayed home. but we have seen record-breaking early votes. And
Oh man.
let me just plug this in. Today in New York is the first day for early voting, so please
Mm.
go out there and vote. First day. So the so yeah, and the Jamaican community are big on the having Kamala Harris.
Kamala, that's right.
So please go there and vote. Go there and vote. Make it your duty. If you're eligible to vote, go there and vote. And I think that, when I look at the Caribbean community as a whole, and I speak about myself, like when we move here, we are concerned about working hard, taking care of our families, sending back money home. And then, we work on getting our green card, and we work on making sure that we get our citizenship. And it so happened that we will vote, but do we go back and check on how we measure the candidates that we vote for? So do
Ah,
we go to town hall meetings? It's very important to go to your town
mhm.
hall meetings. It's very
Community
important.
board meetings.
Exactly. Community board meetings. Get in contact with like I get newsletters all the time from my local representative, and also my representatives in Washington D.C.
Hmm.
So Hakeem Jeffries, I always out there, like seeing, like following him on Twitter and also communicating with him. So it's very important to make sure that your voice is heard. Uh,
Yes.
we have seen it so many